There we go. Hello, hello. We're recording, and I don't even know how that's happened because I didn't push any buttons. So these are the brave souls that decided to join us today, that being Wednesday. Hi, March 24th. For this, I don't know, I felt like playing. So we created this call today just to go over very few tools that you can use in a relationship. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Rudrani Devi. I'm a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness and a certified relationship done different facilitator. So what does that give me? Some credentials? I don't know. Let's just play and see what shows up. So I wanted to just share 3 of the tools of Access. And one of my favorites is interesting point of view. Now, this reality has very interesting points of view of what a relationship should look like, feel like, taste like, sound like, be like. And does it really work for us? That's the question you've got to ask. Interesting point of view that this reality has a point of view that we all need to be in traditional relationships. Now, relationship is basically one person relating to another, and this is what it looks like. And wherein that is the relationship? Well, you could have creationship. And what Gary Douglas says, who is the founder of Access Consciousness and Dr. Dane here, co-founder, if you don't create at least 20% more in relationship, creationship, there's really no point in moving forward with it, okay? And you've got to ask, interesting point of view that this reality has a point of view that I need to be in this. And does that work for me? Does that make sense? I have 2 names and 1 face. Oh, here we go. Here's another one coming in. Fantastic, fantastic. Who seems to be in that place of traditional relationship? Anyone out there want to share with me? Everyone's so shy. There's no sound. I hear laughing though. Mira, what type of relationship?
Yes.
What type of relationships are you in, my dear?
What kind of relationships? I have friendships and I have a possibility of a romantic relationship, but I live in Israel and currently he lives in Australia with no possibility of leaving at this moment due to COVID.
Yes, the beloved COVID. So for those of you watching in the future,
Yes,
we're in early 2021. And just from what I understand, there's been even more lockdowns in Europe. So how does it get any better than that? It does make creationship a little difficult, doesn't it? So
it does. It really does.
So what have you been doing to make it work for you with the distance? Are you guys Zooming?
We're Zooming, where we quite a bit. We're on the video chat for, long periods of time. In the midst of this, we're trying to co-create a new business. So life is interesting. Life is interesting. Yes.
I love hearing that. So in this case, you're actually looking at the relationship as something that will create more than if you two were
Yes.
just relating. Fantastic.
Correct.
I love it. I love it. So this is not a traditional relationship, y'all. Not as far as what this reality has. And if Mira was in the place of not being an interesting point of view about it, how would this work? How does one create when the distance is so far apart? And it's not just this, but it's miles and miles, other countries, and what else is possible now? I love it. I love it. So did you 2 meet in person or did you meet online?
We met online about a year ago, I think, or quite a bit of time ago. And at that time, I wasn't willing to have an online relationship. I wanted an in-person relationship. And we kept in touch very loosely, and the energy was there. So we're making plans, God willing, that, you know, the skies will open again and we will get back to being able to fly around the world. And in the meantime, we're building the possibility of a new business so that it will be a co-creation. So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
So what do others think about
Yeah.
this relationship you have going on, this distance relationship? Has anybody had a point of view? Or have you kept this to yourself? Well, now the whole
No,
world.
I haven't kept it to myself. Some people are excited for me. Other people are like, you know, be careful, you know. And, you know, it is what it is at this point. We shall see how it develops.
I love it. You know, this kind of leads into another tool I wanted to share and access, which is heavy and light. What's light is right for you. What's heavy is not right for you. So would you say that the two of you connected, and in the beginning you were like, no, I want in-person relationship. I'm not down for this distance thing. So what changed? What made this possibility work for you? Or we could say make it light for you. Do you remember the moment?
Well, yes, the moment that I realized that we have so much in common and that the energy was there and the attraction was there. I couldn't ignore it.
Aren't bodies amazing?
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
You know, anytime I get this sense of lightness, usually around my head, I know that's a direction I need to be going in. You know, if I choose this, what will my life be
Yes.
like in 5 years? Light or heavy?
Right.
And that lightness
And
comes over me. My whole body resonates this lightness, or you were saying this energy that was undeniable, this undeniable attraction. And that's when you can really look at what works for you. Even when other
right.
people are saying, be careful, you can tap into your body, your knowing, and say, well, is that true for me? No, it's heavy. So that's just their projected expectations of what this could create, but it's not true for me. So I want to
And Drew,
acknowledge that.
Drew, if you would
I
like to
also had
explain, sorry, about the light and heavy, I know, people who are watching this, light and heavy had been always a tool that had been questioned a lot about, okay, how do I truly sense the lightness? And I feel Ru is an expert on that. So what is your kind of feeling? How do you feel the light, and how do you feel the light if you heavy, if you have to describe in words?
Thank you, Vishnu, for bringing that up, because I did just jump right into that. For me, I'm like a walking, talking meditation. So I'll start to go in one area and it'll start to feel heavy, and I'll stop myself and go, wait a minute, that's not my best choice. But how did I get there? So having light tool is the perfect tool for discovering if something is going to work for you or not. So just bear with me a moment, you guys, all of you out there watching in the future and now. Just very gently close your eyes and just notice your body. Notice your breath breathing you in and out. There's nothing that you're doing. You're simply noticing. And maybe give your little legs a squeeze. Hi, body, here I am. And with your next in-breath, imagine you're breathing in awareness, whatever that looks like for you. Could be a sensation, a sound, feeling, a color. And with every in-breath, just breathing in more and more of this awareness and allowing it to fill your body, every cell, all the organs, all the spaces in between. And then with your next in-breath, allow this awareness to seep through the pores of your skin and fill the room you're sitting in. So now, now your body's inside of you. You are not inside your body. And from this energy, space, and consciousness, this spaciousness that you now be, are there any troubles in your world? Perhaps breathe in just a bit more awareness, spilling through the walls and going out in thousands of kilometers in all directions. And now you are tapping into the universe. And notice your body and notice your infinite self. And now from this energy, space, and consciousness, reconnect with your body and ask your body, truth body, if you were going to show me light, if you were going to show me yes for me, if you were going to communicate yes, what would that look like, sound like, feel like, taste like, smell like, whatever sensation? And just notice what your body points to. Cool. And now let's do just the opposite. Truth body, if you are going to show me no or heaviness, something that doesn't work for us, what would that look like, sound like, taste like, feel like, smell like? Truth body, show me no. Show me heavy. And just watch. Just notice what your body points to. Cool. Now, just very gently, keeping in that same energy, space, and consciousness, open your eyes and ask again, truth body, show me what's light. If you were going to communicate yes, what would that look like? Great. Truth body, show me what would be heavy, what doesn't work for us. Show me no. Truth body, show me no. And notice how you can sense this subtlety even with your eyes open. Whether you're in an expanded state or not, your body loves communicating with you. So this is where the heavy light tool comes from, Vishnu. And I invite all of you to try it for yourselves. Hey, you know, and for anything, make it anything. Hey, truth body, what would you like to eat today? You know, you're opening your refrigerator and you're looking at all the contents, and all of a sudden your body gets turned on by the avocado. So what would happen if you chose avocado? Your body would do a little happy dance, you know? So you can use this tool in relationships as well. Someone says, be careful, Mira. You don't know this guy. How can you be creating from a distance? You've known him for a year through the ethers. How do you know this guy is for real? And that's when you got to ask, hey, is what they're saying true for me? Light or heavy? Yes or no? So it's one of my favorite tools of access. And the best part is you can use it for anything. It doesn't have to just be about relationships. Although that is a good one. I mean, I see someone staring from across the room. Our eyes meet and I'm feeling this lightness. And then I'm like, is that mine? Truth body, is that mine? Oh no, I'm actually picking up on him, checking me out. But can you blame him? You know, just saying. So what would work for you? And here's another piece. I like this, this tool as well. Allowance. It's actually one of the 5 elements of intimacy. Allowance with yourself, with others. Can you be an allowance with those people that are telling you, hey, be careful, this guy's bad news? Can you be an allowance? Just knowing that, hey, that's the best they can do. And they're saying these things because they care about you. You know, it's like every time I leave the house, my mother's like, be careful. I'm like, okay, I'll be careful. I'm not even sure what that means. You know, can we really be careful? I mean, I'm responsible for me driving my car, but what about the guy next to me that has a brain aneurysm? You know? How can I control that? So allowance is a big piece as well. Can you be an allowance of those that care enough for you to tell you, stay away? Now,
And I feel,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, the interesting point of view tool is like best for the allowance to come in. So I have been using, you know, interesting point of view tool all the time, especially when others, let's say, are giving me their advice, their points of view to help me. Especially it's those, you know, that comes from, let's say, my mother, my partner, my brother, my sister. They are so much in care about me that they give me their points of view, but at times it doesn't create. So I have taken this interesting point of view tool to be in that allowance of that, so I don't have to resist them showing me their care. So I can be allowance of their care, but at the same time, not let that points of view affect me if that's not light for me.
Right. I love that you said that. The space of being the rock in the stream. This is what you just described. Here you are with your point of view, and you're being impaled with all these other points of view that are heavy for you. But if you can be an allowance of it, you're like the rock in the stream, and these points of view just dart past you. And what's so amazing about being able to be an allowance of someone else's point of view, whether you align and agree or resist and react to it, is that in this way, you're actually creating more for your life. You know, Gary and Dana both said it, and I've heard a lot of CFs say this, where, you know, if you're willing to be interesting point of view, if you're willing to be allowance with those that are impaling their judgments on you, whether they're, you know, judging you for being amazing or for maybe not being so amazing or so smart in your choices, that your energetic bank account has 5,000 more dollars in it. But if you resist and react to it, it's actually a deficit from your energetic bank account. And notice also that how much ease there is when you're just an allowance and you don't make it significant, when you don't have a point of view about it. Interesting point of view, they have that point of view, that I have this point of view. See how much lighter that is? So I love that you're using the rock in the stream analogy with your
Yeah.
family, because family's kind of the hardest one I find for most, you know, or with their partner. Now, let me make one thing very clear, okay? Allowance is not being a doormat. If someone is abusing you with their points of view, okay? If they are gaslighting you with their points of view, if they're sharing their points of view with others to create more havoc in your life, this is not, you know, you can have allowance if that's what they're choosing, but ask, truth, is it generative for me to stay in this relationship or this abusive relationship? Is it working for me, light or heavy? And then base your decision on this. I mean, I know people that they're in terrible marriages because they're afraid to be alone. And yet the marriage is actually diminishing them and making them less. Now, I don't know if it's a fear factor, you know, fear, as far as I'm concerned, isn't real. Would an infinite being truly be fearful? What's going to create the most here? Is it going to create most for me to stay in this relationship? Is it going to create more for me to leave it? All interesting points of view. But if you can just go, hey, light or heavy for me, you become this walking, talking meditation. No joke. It's like no matter what direction you go in, your body's showing you what will work for you. And it all starts with a question. Question creates, you know, oh, this is my lot in life. I said till death do us part. So I've got to stick to that point of view. No, you don't. No, you don't. Maybe things have changed for whatever reason. I was married for a while. It was, parts of it were a lot of fun, parts of it not so much. And this tool really helped me. I mention it in my book, Choosing Happiness. An uncommon way to find joy in your life. Little plug there. Yeah. And I basically started asking those questions. He said he wanted to leave, that he didn't sign up for this, which, you know, the vows actually were, you know, till death do you part. And he made the comment, if you had died in India, I would have loved you forever. And some of you may not know this, but I was in India during the terrorist attacks and was shot 3 times, point blank range, almost bled out. It ended my marriage. It ended, and I'm grateful. It ended my partnership in business. And I couldn't work for quite a while, couldn't walk for quite a while. But, you know, it's very interesting. Would I have chosen that cognitively? No. If I had been, you know, sitting on Pluto with God and she said, you know, you're going to go to India and you're going to get shot by terrorists and all this wonderful stuff's going to come out of it. I mean, you'll survive it, but you won't be able to walk for like about 3 years and your marriage is going to end in divorce and your business is going to go belly up and all the things. I would have been like, yeah, God, that sounds really cool. What's the second thing on the list? Would I give it back now? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It gave me, I guess, if nothing else, a platform. Hey, if somebody like me can get through something like that, what about you and your relationship or relationships?
And we have an interesting question in the chat as well. Christina, if you want to unmute yourself, that will be amazing as well. the comment here is, what is happening when I am in such as an allowance that I come across as a non-care person.
Is it
Yeah, so
Christina with a Z? I
Yeah.
love that.
Hungarian, and this is how we write it in Hungary. So I'm not starting my video because my internet is a bit unstable. So
Good.
let's just use my speaker first. So yeah, recently I came when everything is changing around me, and I'm just preparing myself for my second foundation. I guess it's the is the pre-win of it, and I'm can be in such an allowance that it can come across as someone who doesn't care about people's feelings, who doesn't care about that they are kind to me, or I'm grateful enough, or I'm not whatever enough, I'm not enough of something.
Right.
But I'm just truly in a space when I'm just like, you do that, you say that, and I'm staying. But and I know that friends can leave and they can change, but yeah, what would you do?
That's a very, very good question. And I am guilty of the same thing. My family, well, let's look at it this way. Are you coming across as not caring, or is it a matter of they cannot control you with their emotions anymore?
Yeah, the thing, and it's driving them crazy. Like it's just making so much. I'm not, starting any drama with them. Like I'm not getting the butter, and then they are becoming more angry and more angry, and I'm just like, happening? Like, what's going on?
It's perfect, because here's what's going on. You don't have a point of view, so it's not affecting you, and they really want to see you have their point of view. So when you're not having their point of view, which is the right and correct point of view, it's going to piss them off. I remember telling Gary about a friend of mine who had come over for dinner, and she got infuriated with me because she was going on and on about her relationship. And she really wanted me to go down the rabbit hole. Now, she had told me she wanted me to facilitate her, but when I wasn't answering her questions with the correct answers or the right answers, in other words, I wasn't holding her hand and going, you poor thing. I was basically saying, well, you have a choice. If this isn't working for you, you can always leave the relationship. That's not what she wanted to hear. And she got very angry, said some choice words, which I won't repeat here, threw her napkin down on her plate and stormed out of my house. And I was relieved, because I was in a space of, wow, I'm actually willing to go it alone. I'm actually willing to keep my arms and legs instead of cutting them off to fit into her reality, which is what she wanted me to do. And so this, I didn't hear from her for days. And then she finally texted me and said, I miss my friend. I need my bars run. And we had a conversation about it. And she basically said, I couldn't find you. I couldn't find you. And when I had the conversation with Gary Douglas later, he basically said, I said, she fell on her sword and she apologized. And he said, yeah, that's not really what happened. She realized that she can't control you anymore. When your interesting point of view, and you don't have a charge on what other people are saying, even if it's impaled at you, you're free. And they really want you to have their point of view. So it gets them angry. They realize you're crazy. They can't control you. You're out of control, because they can't manipulate you into doing or being what they want you to do or be.
Exactly, and it's just more like I feel like I'm becoming more undefinable in their eyes. I just like, because I traveled a lot. I lived in different countries. I'm now back in where I'm coming from, and we can, like you said, we cannot find each other. It's be having a dinner at the same table and just not so more. I mean, not having any attacks all the time, but it's just different.
Well, this is something you can try, because I know that every time I go out of town, I have to connect with my mother, even, if it's like a phone call or energetically. And I do the same thing with my cat. I have the cat sitter send me a picture of the cat, and I connect with her. And this way, when I come home, they can recognize me. And if you're sitting at the same table with them and you're like as close as China, try leaning into their energy field. Just get into their universe a little, just so they can have a taste of your frequency, even if they don't understand you. This way you can be like, hey, I'm here. It's like when I said, squeeze your legs. Hey, body, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'll give you an example. This morning I was on my treadmill watching the news, and I was fracking the insanity from the news stations, with all these different numbers and being the crazy being that I be. And I didn't even notice that my mother had walked in. There's the TV going, there's me doing clearing statements, and the treadmill's loud. And all of a sudden I see her out of the corner of my eye, and I went, wow, I didn't even know you were here. And she was in this space. I had just told her this morning, I've decided I'm going to do Global Foundation. I'm going to actually go to it in person. I'd signed up in person, but I wasn't sure because of COVID, right? And I told her, I said, I think I'm just going to do it. And she goes, well, I don't know, Mexico, blah, blah, blah. And then I leaned into her universe, to give her a feeling of, hey, I've got this. So she comes in while I'm on the treadmill and says, you know what, I think I have enough miles for you to use the airline miles. You may as well use them because they're just sitting there. We haven't been able to travel. And, I had this point of view of, sure, I'll take that. That's fantastic. And then I got this sense of what's required here, which is another question you can ask. And it was, stop the treadmill, get off, give her a hug, and let her know how much you appreciate that. And so that's what happened. And I could just feel her whole body melt. She went from not a good idea, you shouldn't go, unsafe, all the things, to, hey, all I had to do was lean into her world. And now she's going to give me airline miles. How does it get any better? So you've got to be in that space, of allowance, allow them to feel the way they do without a point of view. And if they can't find you, just lean in a little bit. Give them a little taste of your frequency so they know you're still there.
And what if you don't even want them anymore? I know it sounds harsh, whatever, but like we've been friends for like decades, like 10 plus years, and it's changed so fast and so dynamically that I don't even feel like that I will keep it as it was. So can you shape them, or don't? Yeah, they're not really changing much, but I thought.
Yeah, can you be an allowance that they're not choosing what you're choosing? Because some people are not going to choose. And why are they not going to choose? Because they're not going to choose. There is no reason why. People choose what they choose because they choose it. So acknowledge the fact that you want something better for you and that you're doing this journey, right? And they're not interested in the same journey you have. Can you walk away? I mean, Gary Douglas says you've got to be willing to go it alone.
I know, but is it exciting and scary? And I know the two feel mixed. However, sometimes I sense them at the same time. I'm not really sure what am I aware of.
Okay, so are you an infinite being?
Yeah,
Can an infinite being truly be afraid?
guess no.
I guess no.
So who does this belong to? Can it be them to be afraid to lose me?
There's another tool of access, return to sender with loving kindness and awareness attached. Perhaps you're picking up on their fear, my dear. Too bad you're so psychic.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Return to sender with loving kindness and awareness attached. You don't have to take on their points of view. Again, their point of view, not yours. Heavy or light. Is this even mine? No.
What did you just say? Sending Beckett with love?
Yes.
And
You return to sender with loving kindness. And I like to add an awareness attached, because if they really truly choose to create for themselves, if you send that bit of awareness, they might actually begin choosing it. It's kind of like for the longest time, I used to take on my mom's arthritis. My wrists would get really painful and I would return it to sender. And people were like, you're returning it back to your mother? And I'm like, well, me keeping it isn't going to help her. But if I can return it with loving kindness and awareness attached, she'll have the awareness of what's required to heal herself. And it's funny, since she's moved in with me back in November, she hasn't even taken her medicine for her wrists. It's like no pain. So just points of view can keep things locked into your body. Pretty amazing how powerful we be. It's all choice, just a choice. Does that help, Christina?
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense. I guess half of the stuff are not even mine, and yeah, just being more balanced with everything they choose, they be, they do, whatever it is.
Yeah, be an allowance. You know, don't get all righteous on them because they didn't choose what you chose. We don't like it when someone gets righteous on us and tells us, you know, you need to be doing this and you should be doing this and God's going to punish you and blah, 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 blah. Where is kindness in any of that? Maybe the kindest thing to do is to return to sender with awareness attached. This basically gives them permission to choose whatever they're choosing without a point of view. Cool. So this was fantastic. This went fast, Vishnu. This went very quickly. But I just wanted to tap in and say hello to you guys and see if there was, you know, anything coming up in your worlds. We might create another like this. I don't know. Vishnu is a slave driver. So thank you for playing.
Absolutely, whatever creates the best.
Let us have it one more.
Let's have one more. All right. Ciao, bello. How are you doing, my love? So potent. We might have to create
Excellent.
another one just for you. All right, then, you guys.
Thank you so much, Ruth. It was a fantastic session and love the participation of everyone involved. So thank you. That makes it totally unique and valuable. Thank you all.
Absolutely. We did this
Thank
co-creation.
you so much.
Till next time, you guys. Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.